The Eastern Irrigation District, in partnership with IPEX, present a Safety in Irrigation Works video. Diverting water from a river and delivering it to the irrigation farm requires an extensive and complex system of canals. Over the years, many of these canals deteriorate due to erosion, brush growth, damage from animals, or seepage from the canal itself. Others do not have the necessary water carrying capacity as farms are improved, more acres are added, or irrigation pump sizes are increased. As part of their ongoing rehabilitation programs, many irrigation districts have begun replacing some smaller aging canals with PVC pipelines. Most irrigation pipelines are designed to run downhill for their entire length, as they are gravity-fed rather than pressurized and must be drained in the fall to prevent freezing through the winter. Working from survey information, the Engineering and Design Department creates a set of plans, which include the depth that the pipe is to be buried, the degree of the slope that is to be maintained, and all pipe sizes, fittings, and services required to provide sufficient water to the farms. The site is surveyed, and stakes showing the location and depth of cut are installed. The sand for bedding and initial backfill material is hauled to the site and placed along the right-of-way. The pipe, fittings, and any other required materials are laid out in the appropriate areas along the site. Alberta Energy and Utilities Board records and Alberta One Call services are accessed, and all underground utilities and pipelines are located and hand exposed prior to the start of any ground disturbance. Unloading PVC pipe can be hazardous unless the proper procedures are followed. The truck should be parked on a reasonably level area, all tie-down straps removed, and the driver should return to the cab of his truck before unloading begins. No one should be allowed on the blind side of the truck after the tie-down straps have been removed until the truck is completely unloaded. Whenever possible, use a loader with enough capacity to remove the entire lift of pipe from the truck at once. If a smaller loader must be used, some of the bands holding the lift of pipe together will need to be cut to allow a part of the lift to be removed. These bands should not be cut until the loader is in position to provide protection for the worker on the ground. After the bands have been cut, allow the worker on the ground to move at least 9 meters away before beginning the lift. Complete unloading procedures may be obtained from either IPEX or the Eastern Irrigation District. When the equipment and crew arrive on site, a pre-job safety meeting is held to inform the workers of all safety hazards on site, the location of all underground and overhead utilities, job assignments, emergency response procedures, and the personal protective equipment to be worn. The PPE required on a pipeline installation site consists of side impact hard hats, safety glasses or goggles, gloves, a high visibility vest or approved alternative clothing, and CSA-approved steel-toed, steel-shanked boots. This video will illustrate the common procedures used to install a PVC pipeline, from safe trenching to final backfill. For more detailed information and specifications, contact IPEX and obtain a copy of the installation guide for IPEX PVC pressure pipes with IPS and CIODs to 900 millimeters or 36 inches. The 3 basic operations included in pipeline installation are trenching, pipe laying, and backfilling. These operations should be kept as close together as is safely possible. This reduces the possibility of problems associated with water, frozen trenches, impact and traffic damage to the pipe, or flotation of partially exposed pipe. The size and shape of the trench are critical to both the safety of the workers and the lifespan and reliability of the pipeline itself. The width of the trench at the pipe should be no more than 600 millimeters or 2 feet wider than the diameter of the pipe itself. This provides sufficient support for the pipe while still allowing room to place and compact backfill material. The design determines the depth of the trench. The maximum depth of straight cut allowed by Alberta Occupational Health and Safety Regulation is 1.5 meters. But for this application, keeping the straight cut to no more than 1 meter is preferable, as workers will be bending or kneeling down regularly, particularly when installing fittings or applying lubricant to gaskets. The hoe operator must be knowledgeable about and constantly monitor for changing soil types and conditions, as the depth of the straight cut portion of the trench may have to be adjusted accordingly. The remaining trench depth must be sloped back to meet OH&S regulations. As most pipelines are installed in unstable, wet, or previously disturbed soil, a 45-degree slope, or 1 meter horizontal to 1 meter vertical, should be maintained as a standard practice to provide the necessary protection for the workers in the trench. The spoil pile must be sloped to 45 degrees and set back from the top edge of the trench at least 1 meter. The hoe operator must keep lumps and rocks cleaned from this 1 meter area, as workers will be directly below. A minimum of 4 inches or 100 millimeters of sand is placed in the bottom of the trench, leveled to grade using a construction laser, and checked against the survey hubs every 25 meters using survey equipment. As small variations in the sand are smoothed manually, usually with the worker's foot, there is a potential for repetitive strain injuries. The grade man should be aware of this possibility, and job rotation may be required in some cases. As the grade man is required to work near the hoe, the operator must be able to easily see the grade man at all times. This is particularly critical when placing bedding material. If the operator loses sight of the grade man, or if the visibility in the trench is reduced due to steam or low light conditions, hoe operation must stop until visibility improves. Irrigation pipelines are generally designed and installed with the bell end of the pipe uphill. The pipe is lowered into the trench using a lifting device or web slings. When a lifting device is to be used, training must be provided in the inspection and operation of the device, and the worker must be supervised until he can be considered competent. The lifting device or sling must be inspected for damage or loose components before each lift. No workers should be under the pipe at any time during the lift. If the trench is too deep to be able to hand the pipe down to the workers below, all workers, including the grade man, should be out of the active trench area until the pipe has been lowered near the trench bottom. Do not trap the grade man between an uncontrolled pipe and the trenching hoe. Ensure that the spigot end of the pipe is clean. Apply a thin coating of Ipex lubricant paste to the bevel and approximately the first 1.5 inches of the pipe. Guide the spigot end into the bell of the previous pipe, taking care not to drag any sand into the joint. Release the lifting device or remove the sling.